Hello, everybody. Welcome to A1R Radio. My name is Jackie. This is Rose. On behalf of Heaven on Earth Healing Center, we welcome you for all tuning in today. On behalf of Rose and myself, today we have decided to do something a little bit different, something outside of the box, and something that is very close and dear to our hearts. We are both animal lovers. We both have rescues, and we just wanted to share our personal stories with about our fur babies. So today there might be a two-part episode here and there because there's so much love to speak about our fur babies. And today we're going to speak about Rose and her beloved fur baby, Muse. So Rose, how did you and Muse cross paths, and how long have you had Muse?
Cross paths in October. Muse was born July 21st of 2015. But in October, there was something that I just wanted to, I've always been an animal lover. I just wanted to bring home a new loving dog. So I decided to venture out and bring Muse home. And he was spending from the time that he was born, he was brought in from Hungary, from a breeder, and I had saw him, and it was love at first sight. So I had purchased him and brought him home and gave him a forever loving home, and that was my promise to him.
Good. And how soon, Rose, did you realize that Muse was not himself? And also, too, why did you choose the name Muse?
Muse was divinely brought down from a departed loved one. And I must say, I left it up to the divine, which is my loved one that is on the other side, to name him. And on my birthday, October 29th, I went out for some dinner with my son. And I just knew, driving back, I just knew that was his name. Something just had whispered in my ears and said, Muse. So I knew right away, and I had named him that. He didn't have any names for the time that I had him, Jax, at all. So it almost took me some time to have that name brought forward. So that was the part of his venture on that. I would say about 2 months after, I realized something different on Muse. And I was told by the groomer that something's a little off, but I hadn't noticed at that time. But one day when I had brought him to work, I realized Muse's four little leggies couldn't walk at all. And at that moment, I took him to the hospital, and I thought he was going to be okay. I really thought at that moment, they're just going to assess him and he'll be sent home. But I received a phone call that he needed to be sent to neurological department into another hospital. It was quite serious, actually. And at that point, we didn't know what it was. So they had kept Muse for about 2 days before they opt to do an MRI. And the sadness, I would say, that I received on their face, the doctor's faces, was quite a concern for me at that point. I was feeling very, very, I would say, nervous. I was afraid, but yet I felt the love and the light around me to walk this journey, because I never lost sight of why he came in my life in the first place. So they had placed him through everything, the MRI, and the diagnosis came. So I'm going to say it as best as I can, and I'll short form it for anybody who's out there that has this diagnosis. It's called Syngramyelia, and it's Chiari malformation, which usually goes into a term of SM or CM. And he was also diagnosed on his second MRI with an anchoroid cyst. So it basically, this kind of, I would say, diagnosis is quite painful for the animal, very, very painful. Most dogs are on a cocktail of medications to live a quality of life. So when I received that, I realized at that point, still his mobility was off. And I didn't know at that point what we could do. So the doctors had decided to put him on prednisones and other medications. And I felt he started to come back a little bit, but the way his mobility was, in their eyes, it was not what they wanted to and what they expected to see. So I would say after that, honestly, I probably would say 2 weeks. I was in a very, very quiet. I needed time to process this diagnosis, and honestly, I heard a voice, and I just listened to the inner voice because I was afraid. I will say I was afraid, but I wasn't letting go. I was going to walk every step with Muse, and he knew I had him. And I heard that voice of just the power of prayer, power of prayer. And I'm a very spiritual woman, and I always go to God for everything. So I started to pray, and I was asking for the mobility and to be pain free because it's a very, very painful disease diagnosis. And I started praying a lot every day, every day. Not that I don't pray in my life as a child, but it just became I needed to increase my prayer. And as I kept moving forward, I started noticing difference in Muse. Muse was just a ball of light. And it's almost like he knew that no matter what it was, I was going to hold him every step of the way. And I did. And then I said to myself, the doctors, they would not do any surgery. There was no way that they would do surgery because they were uncertain of the internal parts of Muse. And it went as high as, the surgeons. But when I heard that, I thought, there's got to be much more. Power of prayer. And also I'm also a Christology master and a Reiki master. And I thought I need to work with the healing in him. So I started every single day with 3 powerful things: the power of prayer, crystal healing, and also Reiki healing. And Muse still today receives that every day. And he also receives different kind of therapy, which is also acupuncture and laser, which also helps for the fluids to start moving and start flowing through his neck, through the spine, and allows him to have a better stability on the mobility and to also reduce the pain. I will say within the 2 weeks that I had started the power of prayer, I noticed a miracle. And I must say this, it was a true miracle. Muse had absolutely zero pain, zero pain. And he started walking again. So I've not only witnessed, I've witnessed a miracle in Muse's his fight to live, but it was all through the unconditional love that we had brought together.
Yes. So that's such a beautiful, beautiful story. And I thank you for sharing that, not only for myself, but for anyone who is listening. And for anyone who is listening, if they know of somebody who is going through a similar situation, know that there is hope. And, my next question to you is, what other going through all these different situations with Muse, what has Muse brought to you, to your life?
Muse has brought a lot of healing to my life in more ways. I think, honestly, I must say, unconditional love is the most biggest that I have felt throughout the whole entire journey. And I always thought that I was bringing it to him and saving him, but really in the end, he was saving me with much unconditional love.
So what advice would you have for the animal lovers out there?
For anybody who's going through any kind of situations with their fur babies, whether it's a diagnosis, whether it's a puppy, there is no perfection to any animal, just like a human being that walks this physical plane. Please have and take the time to be patient and bring always every day as much unconditional love, because they feed off your energy. And when you are off balance, they already know this prior to you being off balance. So just please try to synchronize your beautiful energy with their energy, which will give them that safe haven, that place of love. And this is all what an animal needs and wants.
So, and on an ending note, what made you decide not to give up on him?
Never even crossed my mind, Jackie.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Crossed my mind. I will say, you know what? Muse is my guiding light. and he has been everything you can ever imagine. So I'm very, very blessed to be able to share the story, to have Muse in my life. And I just thought I would share Muse, and this is Muse. He's now going to be 7 years old, and he's still here today, living a pain-free life with beautiful mobility, and it's all due to unconditional love and healing.
Ah, that's so beautiful. I do appreciate you sharing your beautiful story with us and for our viewers. And we send you all love and angel blessings.
Thank you. Angel blessings to all. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.